The dim glow of the computer screen flickers against the shadowed walls, casting an unnatural light on the room. The soft click of a mouse echoes in the stillness, followed by the faint hum of the machine, which feels alive with secrets. Her fingers hover over the mouse, shaking ever so slightly, as though it knows the decision is made. The room is quiet, too quiet, and the weight of the moment presses in. She leans closer, staring at the link, a random string of numbers. The oddness of it should be enough to make her turn away, but she can't. She remembers the words from earlier, the ones that still echo in her mind like a whispered curse. It's just one click. One click. She tries to breathe, but her chest tightens. Then, a voice breaks the silence, a tremor of fear in it, as if it's trying to drag her back to reality. You shouldn't have clicked it. The words hang in the air like a broken promise. Her pulse quickens. Her stomach lurches. She never should have clicked it. Her mind races, but her body betrays her, frozen in place, her hand still hovering over the mouse, unwilling to move. The link sits there taunting her. A thread. Path. But to where? The realization hits like a punch to the gut. She's in too deep. The moment is no longer a choice. The thing on the other side of the screen is waiting for her. Her heart skips a beat as the silence stretches on. Nothing feels right anymore. She never wanted this. But it's too late now. You shouldn't have clicked it. The voice echoes in her mind, replaying over and over, each repetition more menacing than the last. The words haunt her, a cruel reminder of the irreversible step she's taken. She didn't know then, couldn't know, that the moment her cursor touched that link, everything would change. But the truth is, she could have known. She was warned. But now, it's too late. The screen flashes, and with it, something changes in the room. The air thickens. A low hum emerges from the speakers, vibrating through her bones. It's like the room is alive, shifting in some way she can't quite explain. Her hands press harder into the desk, her nails digging into the wood. She closes her eyes for a moment, as if trying to escape the weight of what she's done. But there's no escape. It's already here. It's already too late. The hum from the speakers grows louder, a steady rhythm that matches the pounding of her heart. She wants to scream. She wants to shut everything down and erase this moment from existence. But she can't. It's already too far gone. Her eyes snap open. The screen is no longer static. It's moving, shifting. The numbers, the letters, they're rearranging themselves. The link isn't just a link anymore. It's a doorway. What have I done? The words are barely a whisper, but they carry the weight of something much heavier. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an accident. She knew, deep down, that this was always going to happen. She just didn't know when. You don't understand. Her voice cracks as she says it aloud, as if trying to convince herself that there's still a way out. But there isn't. Not anymore. The room shifts again, the hum now mixed with a soft rhythmic tapping sound, like something scratching against the walls trying to get in. The cold air presses against her skin, and she realizes she's not alone. There's something in the room with her. The thought hits her like a wave. She's not alone. She never was. The air seems to thicken, heavier now, as if the room itself is closing in on her. The flickering of the screen is accompanied by a low, static noise that sends chills down her spine. She turns slowly, her eyes scanning the room as though expecting something, or someone, to appear. But there's nothing. Nothing, except the overwhelming feeling that she's being watched. The screen flickers, the link pulsating with a life of its own, as if beckoning her further into the dark web of her decisions. Her pulse quickens, a knot of dread tightening in her stomach. She turns away, her fingers trembling on the keyboard, desperate for control, for something to ground her. But her reflection in the dark window only mirrors the unease that churns inside her. "Why can't I stop?" she mutters to herself, her voice barely a whisper. The room feels colder now, the hum of the machine a steady heartbeat in the silence. It's almost as if the air around her is thickening, pulling tighter with every passing second. She stands up from the desk, pacing in the small, confined space. The shadows move with her, stretching and pulling, mocking her attempts to break free. But it's not just the room. It's her. Something has changed. I shouldn't have clicked it. The words echo in her head. She can't escape them. She can't escape this. The sense of something watching her, waiting, is overwhelming. There's no turning back. There was never a choice. The sound of a door creaking in the distance startles her, and she spins toward the sound, her heart pounding in her chest. But there's nothing. She knows there's nothing. She's alone. She has to be. But then, the hum of the computer shifts, deepens. It's no longer a faint background noise. It's louder, closer, as if the machine itself is alive and breathing, feeding off the darkness. She edges back toward the desk, her feet dragging across the floor like she's wading through water, as if the air is heavier than it should be. The screen is changing again, the once static link now morphing into something far worse. Words begin to form in the numbers, illegible at first, but slowly taking shape, revealing a message. A name. Her heart skips a beat. It's her name. How did they know my name? She whispers, her voice trembling. How did they know? She stares at the screen, her mind reeling. Her breath comes in short, shallow gasps, and every instinct in her body is screaming at her to run. But where would she go? What could she possibly do? There's no escape. Her hand reaches for the mouse again, this time slower, deliberate. Part of her knows she shouldn't. But there's another part, a darker part, that's drawn to it. She clicks, and the screen blinks. A flash of light. A warning. What? Her breath catches in her throat. The room tilts. She stumbles back, knocking over a chair. It crashes to the ground with a sharp bang that breaks the silence. The hum of the computer stops. But there's something else. The sound of static, muffled voices, distant and jumbled, cutting through the stillness. They're here. She breathes, the fear growing in her chest. The static sound grows louder, like a storm approaching, and she can feel the air in the room shift. The walls seem to pulse, as if breathing with her, drawing her deeper into the chaos. Her hands grip the desk for support, but the world is tilting. The floor beneath her feet feels unstable. No, I didn't ask for this. I never asked for this, she whispers to herself, her voice strained, desperate. She presses her hands to her ears, but the static won't stop. It fills her head, drowns out all rational thought. Her pulse is in her throat, a constant reminder of the panic threatening to swallow her whole. In that moment, she knows. The room, the link, the voices, it's all connected. She can't get away. She never could. Something is coming for her. She turns away from the desk, her back pressed against the cold wall. Her breath is ragged, her skin clammy, and the room feels like it's shrinking around her. Every instinct tells her to run, to escape, but where? How? Her mind races, trying to grasp at some solution, some way to make sense of this nightmare. I didn't ask for this, she repeats, the words losing meaning with each passing second. And then, she hears it. A knock. Soft at first. Then louder. Louder, until it reverberates through the room. Who is it? She cries out, but there's no answer. She's paralyzed, her body frozen, the knock growing louder, nearer. Who is it? The knock at the door doesn't stop. It's relentless, echoing through the silence like a warning. Her heart pounds in her chest, a constant reminder that she's not alone. She knows it now. She feels it in every nerve. Who is it? She repeats, the question almost a plea. But it's useless. The knocking continues, each strike more urgent than the last. I didn't ask for this. The words are hollow, but they hang in the air like a suffocating fog. She scrambles toward the door, her hands trembling as she reaches for the handle. She knows she should open it. She knows she has no choice. But as her fingers brush the cold metal, she hesitates. There's something on the other side. She can feel it. It's more than just a presence. It's a promise. A promise of answers, but at what cost? A sudden rush of cold air sweeps through the room, causing her to recoil. It's too late, she whispers, her voice barely audible as she opens the door. The door creaks open slowly, revealing nothing but darkness beyond it. She steps into the threshold, the cold air biting at her skin. But there's no one there. No one waiting. But the room feels different now. The atmosphere is thick, like something has shifted. The air is heavier. The silence is more oppressive. She can feel eyes on her, though there's no one to see. It's as if the walls themselves are watching, judging her. She steps back into the room, her breath shallow. Then, the screen flickers again. This time the link is no longer a series of random numbers. It's a message. She was never missing. The words flash in her mind, the meaning sinking deep into her bones. The cold realization hits her like a physical blow. I didn't lose her. I gave her away. The words on the screen burn into her eyes, their meaning slowly unraveling in her mind. She was never missing. It doesn't make sense. How could it be true? Her heart races as memories flood her mind. Her hand shakes as she reaches for the mouse, clicking the link without thinking. The screen changes again, showing pictures of someone she knows. Someone she thought she lost. The photos are old, faded, but unmistakable. Her breath catches in her throat. The person in the pictures? It's her sister. But that can't be right. She thought she had disappeared. She thought she had been taken. But now, the truth is creeping in, darker than she imagined. The room feels suffocating, the walls closing in tighter with each revelation. No, it's not true, she whispers to herself, unable to accept what the screen is showing her. Her mind spins, unable to process the truth she's just uncovered. Yes, I didn't lose her. I gave her away. The words echo in her head, like a mantra, repeating over and over. She steps back from the screen, her body shaking as if she's been struck by a force she can't see. How could I have done this? She asks herself, the voice barely above a whisper. The room seems to spin around her, the walls closing in. There's nowhere to hide, no way to run. She stumbles towards the door, her feet unsteady, but the knocking starts again. This time it's not just at the door. It's coming from the walls, from the ceiling, from inside her head. She presses her hands to her ears, but the sound only grows louder. The truth is breaking her, tearing at the edges of her mind. I never wanted this, she cries out. But it's too late for regrets. The truth has already been set in motion. The knocking stops. Silence. But it's not the calm that follows a storm. It's the stillness before the next wave. She lowers her hands from her ears, her fingers numb from the pressure. The room is eerily quiet, as if holding its breath. The screen flickers again, but this time there's no message. Just a single word. Run. It's like a command. A warning. Her heart skips a beat. She doesn't need to be told. She's already running. Her feet move before her mind catches up. Run, she whispers to herself, her voice trembling. The door slams behind her. She doesn't look back. She runs without thinking, her breath ragged, her pulse a constant hammering in her ears. The door slams behind her, but she doesn't stop. The house is a maze, a labyrinth she used to know so well, but now it feels unfamiliar. Dark, night wine, cold. Every corner feels like an escape route that leads nowhere. Her hands shake as she fumbles with the doorknob, but the door won't budge. She pulls at it with desperate force, her nails digging into the wood, but the door remains locked. A sound echoes through the hallway. Footsteps. Slow. Tasto. Deliberate. And then a voice. Running won't help. Her breath catches in her throat as the realization sinks in. The walls are closing in on her again. The darkness isn't just the room. It's inside her too. Her decisions. Her mistakes. They've all come for her now. You can't outrun the truth. The words hit her like a cold slap, sending shivers down her spine. The voice is closer now, echoing down the hallway, chilling in its calmness. She turns, her back pressed against the door, as if it could protect her from the darkness she's running from. But there's nowhere to hide. She can feel the weight of the air pressing against her chest, the oppressive silence wrapping around her like a heavy blanket. Her mind races, searching for an escape. But every direction leads her deeper into the maze. Every hallway she turns down only brings her closer to the source of the voice. It's over, she whispers, but she knows it's more than just words. She has been running from this moment for too long. And now, there's no place left to go. You can't escape what you've done. The voice taunts, louder now, closer. The footsteps stop. The silence is almost suffocating. Her chest rises and falls with each labored breath. She can feel it now. The weight of the past, the burden of her actions, hanging around her like a noose. She's spent so long pretending, denying, running from what she's done. But now, she can't outrun it anymore. It's here. Her hand reaches for the wall to steady herself, but her fingers graze something cold. It's metal. A key. It's the one she's been searching for. The one that will unlock everything. The door, the truth, her salvation. I can fix this, she mutters under her breath, though she knows the words are empty. She's just saying them to convince herself. The key slips into the lock, the turn slow, deliberate. The door creaks open, and on the other side there's no safety. There's only the truth. The door creaks open, revealing a small room, bathed in shadow. The air is thick with dust and the remnants of things long forgotten. A single light flickers overhead, casting uneven shadows across the room. In the center, a figure stands, barely visible in the half-light. Her breath catches in her throat as she steps into the room. The figure turns toward her, and it's like a punch to the gut. You were never gone, were you? Her voice cracks, the words tasting bitter on her tongue. The person standing before her is no stranger. It's someone she thought was lost. Someone she gave away. I didn't want to believe it, she whispers, her heart heavy with the truth she's been running from. The figure speaks, their voice low and chilling. You should have known. You were never supposed to forget. The figure steps forward, the light catching their face. It's a face she knows all too well, a face she thought she'd never see again. But here it is. The truth staring her right in the eyes. I never wanted to lose you, she whispers, her voice breaking. The figure's eyes are cold, devoid of warmth. You didn't lose me, they say, their tone flat and emotionless. You gave me away. The words hit her like a slap. They sting, cutting deeper than anything else. The realization settles in, heavy and final. She never lost them. She made the choice. She chose to walk away, to forget. And now, the consequences are here, standing before her. She can't run from this anymore. The silence in the room is suffocating. The truth hangs between them, thick and heavy. The woman stands frozen, her eyes fixed on the figure before her, struggling to process what's happening. I didn't mean for this to happen, she whispers, her voice barely audible, trembling with the weight of her guilt. The figure's expression remains unchanged, cold as ever, as though they're a reflection of the harsh reality she's tried so desperately to deny. You can't undo what's been done, they say, their voice cutting through the tension like a blade. The woman's heart aches, the realization of her choices now a bitter taste in her mouth. How could I have been so blind, she mutters, her hands trembling as they grasp at the air, trying to make sense of the impossible. But the figure says nothing more. There's nothing left to say. The truth is final. The damage is done. The weight of the silence between them grows unbearable. She wants to scream, to say something, anything, to break the suffocating tension. But words seem inadequate. How could she apologize for something so irreversible? How could she ask for forgiveness when she doesn't even know if she deserves it? I didn't know what I was doing, she says, her voice shaky. I didn't know the cost. The figure steps closer, their gaze unyielding, and it feels like every step they take deepens the chasm between them. You never wanted to know, they say quietly, the words cutting through her chest like ice. Her eyes fall to the floor, and the tears begin to flow. Unstoppable now. Please, she whispers, the plea raw, desperate. I'm so sorry. But the silence speaks louder than her words ever could. The figure doesn't respond. Instead, they turn slowly, walking to the far corner of the room. The woman watches, her breath catching in her throat, her body frozen in place. She can't look away from them. The air feels heavy with the ghosts of her past actions, the consequences of her choices that can never be undone. She knows this is the moment when everything she's run from, everything she's hidden from herself, must be faced. The figure stops and turns back toward her, their expression unreadable. Do you understand now? They ask, their voice soft but heavy with finality. She opens her mouth to speak, but no words come out. She simply nods, tears streaming down her face. She understands. Too late, but she understands. The room grows colder, the atmosphere charged with an electric tension. The figure speaks again, their voice low and final. You can never go back. You can never undo the past. Her heart shatters at the words, and a sob escapes her lips. She steps forward, her movements jerky, her mind reeling from the devastation of everything she's lost. I didn't know, she says through her tears. I didn't know what I was giving away. I didn't know I was losing you. The figure turns fully toward her now, their face still unreadable. But there's something there, something that hints at a deeper pain. They reach out, touching her cheek gently, almost tenderly, as if understanding the weight of the sorrow that bears down on her. It was never just about losing me, they say softly. It was about losing yourself. The moment lingers, and she feels a strange sense of peace begin to settle in her chest, but it's not the kind of peace she expected. It's hollow, like the calm before the storm. The truth has been said, the damage acknowledged, but there's no comfort in it. Only the painful clarity of what's been lost. What now? She whispers, her voice trembling. What do I do now? The figure doesn't answer at first. Instead, they just look at her, as if searching for something in her face, something that might explain everything. Then, softly, they speak. You live with it. It's simple, but it's the only answer she needs. The woman's body trembles with the weight of their words. She doesn't know what comes next, but she knows one thing for sure. She'll never forget. She can't. The figure's words echo in her mind, lingering like a haunting refrain. You live with it. It's the kind of truth that doesn't give you relief, but instead traps you within its walls. The weight of it presses down on her chest, and the tears continue to flow freely, like a river that's finally been allowed to run its course. But there's no cleansing in the release. No sense of healing. Just the deep ache of knowing what's been lost. She glances around the room, at the empty spaces where things used to be. The chairs that are now empty, the walls that no longer feel like home. The house feels like a shell. The air is cold, even though she can't feel the breeze. The silence is deafening, suffocating. I didn't mean for this. I never wanted this, she says again, as though repeating it might somehow make it true. But it's not. It never was. The past cannot be undone. The truth cannot be erased. She walks slowly to the window, her hands shaking as she pulls the curtains aside. Outside, the world looks unchanged. The sky is dark, the stars distant and cold, offering no comfort. The house behind her feels like a graveyard, a place where everything she once knew lies buried. She presses her hand against the glass, feeling the coolness seep into her skin. She wonders if anyone will ever know the truth, the real truth of what happened. She wonders if anyone could ever understand what it feels like to lose yourself in your own choices. I didn't want to lose you, she says quietly to the darkness, but the wind outside is the only response. Her eyes move to the empty street where everything is still, silent. a world going on without her. I don't know who I am anymore. The words leave her mouth as if they were never hers, a confession she wasn't ready to make. The woman turns away from the window, her eyes scanning the room, though it feels like everything around her has lost its meaning. She used to know this space. She used to feel safe here. But now it's just a cage, a reminder of everything that's gone wrong. She sits down on the edge of the couch, the cushions soft beneath her, but the weight on her shoulders is unbearable. What now? She asks herself. How do I move forward from this? She runs her fingers through her hair, frustrated by the emptiness she feels inside. How do you move on from the truth when you know you can never escape it? She knows she has to keep going, but every step feels like walking through mud, slow and exhausting. Her life has been fractured, shattered into pieces she can't put back together. And yet she knows she must try. The sound of a knock at the door snaps her from her thoughts. It's soft, tentative, as though the visitor is unsure if they should even be there. She doesn't move right away. For a moment, she wonders if she should ignore it, pretend she's not home, pretend the world outside doesn't exist. But then she stands up. She doesn't have the luxury of hiding anymore. The knock comes again, more insistent this time. She walks slowly to the door, her feet heavy as if each step is a decision she didn't want to make. She hesitates before she opens it, her heart racing. What now? She mutters to herself again. But this time the question feels different, less like a lament and more like a challenge. The door creaks open. She opens the door, and standing before her is someone she didn't expect to see. It's not a stranger. It's not a figure from her past. It's someone who has been part of her life all along, someone she pushed away, someone she failed to see when she needed them the most. Their eyes meet, and for a moment, the world outside disappears. I'm here, they say softly, the words carrying weight as if they've been waiting for this moment just as long as she has. And for the first time in what feels like forever, she doesn't feel so alone. I didn't know how to fix this, she admits, her voice shaking. But I'm ready now. The figure steps forward, extending a hand, and she reaches out, her fingers brushing theirs. It's a small gesture, but it feels like a promise. The door closes behind them with a soft click, and for a moment the woman stands still, as though holding her breath. The person standing before her remains close, offering a quiet comfort in their presence. The air in the room feels different now, less suffocating, less heavy with the weight of unspoken truths. You don't have to do this alone, they say, their voice gentle but firm. The woman looks at them, her chest tight with the enormity of the words. She's been carrying this burden for so long. It feels foreign to think that she might not have to anymore. That perhaps, in this moment, she doesn't have to carry the weight of her mistakes all by herself. I'm not alone, she asks, the question almost a whisper. The answer, when it comes, is simple. Not anymore. And for the first time in what feels like forever, she allows herself to believe it. The woman takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of her past finally begin to lift, if only slightly. She has spent so long pretending, so long running from the consequences of her actions. But now, with this person beside her, she feels something different. A tentative sense of peace. I don't know how to move forward, she admits, her voice trembling slightly. How do you keep going after everything that's happened? The person beside her looks at her with understanding, their gaze soft but unwavering. One step at a time, they say simply. That's all you can do. Just take the next step. For the first time, she isn't afraid of the future. She isn't afraid of what's to come, because the next step is all that matters now. The future feels uncertain, but she knows she doesn't have to face it alone. The woman steps forward, her movements slow but purposeful. The weight of her past is still there, but it no longer feels like an insurmountable wall. It's a part of her, but it doesn't define her anymore. I'm ready, she says softly, almost to herself, but the words carry a new strength. The person beside her nods, offering a small smile. You've always been ready. The woman looks around the room, the space that has held so many painful memories. But now, she sees it differently. The room is still a part of her story, but it no longer holds the power it once did. She doesn't need to escape it anymore. This is just a chapter, she whispers, as if the words themselves can help her move on. And with that she steps toward the door, the first of many steps she must take. The door opens, and the woman steps outside. The night air is cool against her skin, the sky above clear, full of stars. It's a vastness she's forgotten, a world full of possibilities that she's shut herself off from for too long. I don't know where to go from here, she admits, her voice quieter now, as if speaking the truth of the moment aloud makes it more real. The person steps beside her, their presence a grounding force. You don't have to know right now, they say, their tone calm and reassuring. You just have to trust yourself to find the way. For the first time in a long while, the woman feels like she's standing at the edge of something new, something real. The past is no longer chasing her. The future is still uncertain, but she's no longer afraid of it. I trust you, she says, her voice steady. And for once she believes it. The woman takes a step forward, her feet firm on the ground, each movement now purposeful. She doesn't know what comes next, but that's okay. For the first time she understands that it's okay not to have all the answers. The truth, it's a part of me now, she whispers. But it won't define me. The person beside her nods, their gaze gentle, understanding. No, it won't. The woman breathes deeply, looking ahead. The night feels different now, full of promise, full of possibility. She's ready to face whatever comes next, not because she has all the answers, but because she knows she can walk through it with someone by her side. And as she steps forward into the unknown, she knows she's no longer alone.